Hi there, it's Ruth Backlund from Energy Works Myofascial Release. Wanted to talk to you today a little bit about having courage to feel and having courage to get treatment to overcome past trauma. So trauma can come from many forms. It can come from physical trauma. Maybe you're in an abusive relationship. Maybe you're in a car accident. Maybe you had surgery and so you've got that kind of trauma as well, surgical scars. Or maybe you had a sports injury or recurring sports injuries, from, your childhood or your younger adult days or, from any sport, whatever. Maybe you were just in an accident, fell out of a tree, who knows. But you've got some trauma. And there might be emotional trauma as well. A lot of times I see people who have been abused as a child, whether it be emotionally abused, sexually abused, physically abused, or even in their adulthood. So there's all kinds of trauma out there. And it comes in many, many forms. And so as people come in with chronic issues, a lot of times their past trauma is a big contributor as far as what's going on now. Our bodies are meant to adapt as much as possible, and at some point we tend to hit a tipping point. And so all that trauma that we've endured over time finally catches up with us. And yes, you can talk to a therapist about some of the trauma that you've had. Sometimes you need physical work, myofascial work in particular, because that works with not only the physical body, but also the emotional body, the essence of the body, to help you feel and let your body open up that past trauma and let go pieces of it. Okay, you don't have to hold on to all that. So one of the things that John tends to talk us through during a seminar is if we've had some pretty intense responses to the treatment, and that comes from taking our brakes off and really letting go of control and just letting our body move where it wants to move. Sometimes it goes into a position of past trauma, and that can be pretty intense. And so I think one of the things that's important is to understand that in a treatment session, even if we go ahead and, we allow ourselves or give ourselves permission to go into that past trauma and really feel what's going on, we've survived that. It's not going to hurt us again. It's not always fun to go back to some of that trauma, but we have some unprocessed feelings with that. It could be unprocessed emotions, could be unprocessed sensations, because we've locked things down in our bodies so we could survive. So at the end of one of those big, intense situations, a lot of times John will go through a mantra that really helps the healing process as well, because you're in a state where you're open to receiving some of that commentary. You're open to not just shutting everything down. So I just thought I would quick read it to you. It came from the inspiration cards that a therapist put together on a lot of the sayings that John Barnes puts together. So I thought I would read it to you because it fed right in with healing trauma and having the courage to go into that trauma so you can heal and so you can feel. But this is what he says. Tell yourself, I survived. No matter what happened, I love me. And I give myself permission to heal. I give myself permission to be fully present, fully aware, and fully powerful. I give myself permission to be fully me. I allow my beautiful, luminous essence to fill my body into every aspect of my being, filling myself with love and light. Now, isn't that wonderful? So if you just went through a traumatic situation, or, if you went through a myofascial release session and you revisited some past trauma, isn't that just a wonderful way to kind of wrap that up? So if you've been dealing with some past trauma, whether it be physical or emotional, something that's recurring and is really kind of holding you back, take a check inside. Do you have the courage to deal with that? Do you have the courage to address it? There are people here to help you. So if you want to talk, shoot me a message. We can see what might be going on with you, and we'll go from there. Have a good one.